All right, it's Wednesday night. It's podcast night. We've got returning guests, Jeff Walker and Jim Davis. Now, Jim, it's been a while since you've been on here, and we're so glad to have you back with Jeff. Uh, we just wrapped up a jam session in the green room, which was awesome. I think we can't play the whole thing, but Percy, you can probably put some snippets out. We'll figure out how to get some cuts of that out there because tonight we're doing slide guitar songs, and we were playing a little bit of slide, and Jim was coming in, accompanying
in the house.
just that y'all were rocking the house. It was
awesome.
great. Wilkie's here on picks, and we're going to get into slide guitar songs, and this is going to make a great playlist, which will be on Apple Music and Spotify, and of course, this will go live tonight here shortly after we're done. So before we get started, let's thank our sponsors. Good old Spices Smokehouse Crackers. Lynn brought us some goodies over while we were sort of warming up, if you will. And want to thank Brindley's Family Pharmacy. They do a great job. Go see them. They're a local pharmacy. You should always shop local. Use a local pharmacist. And last but not least, our friends at Busted Oak Urban Society, where Percy and I will be there Saturday, and we're going to play this slide guitar playlist at the bar all day Saturday, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're glad y'all are here, guys.
We're glad to be here.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. So, with all that being said, Percy, you got anything you want to add?
I think you got it covered.
All right. Let's get into honorable mentions then, starting first.
Before I want to get started with my honorable mentions, I got a few fun facts here. And the first known recording of a slide guitar was in 1923 by a man named Sylvester Weaver. But W.C. Handy first heard of slide guitar in 1903. So when it
What
song
was it that he did?
He didn't say. He first heard slide. So and that probably wasn't the earliest version of somebody hearing it.
Right.
It was just later on that they actually recorded it.
Yeah.
And according to my research, the Rolling Stones' early song "I Want to Be Your Man," a lot of people say that was maybe the first appearance of slide guitar in a true rock song.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
we knew it was going to be some good stuff.
Dwayne Allman later the week. Waiting to pop out. That's really good medicine bottle. All right.
Now to my honorable mentions. And my first honorable mention is they actually did in the green room. But this is a cover of that song, and it's by the great little old band from Texas, and it's Just My Broom.
That's great.
So yeah,
I believe that was on the DeGuello album.
Yeah, that was DeGuello.
And I mean, all you can say is Elmore James, and the Top Boys had a love for Elmore James.
Yeah.
My next honorable mention, and we didn't even discuss this in the green room, was the first really rock and roll song that I ever remember being based around slide guitar. And it was a Howlin' Wolf cover of Little Red Rooster by the Rolling Stones. I mean, right at the first of that song, you hear that slide guitar coming in. And my last honorable mention is by a band that I think is in rock and blues is very underrated, and it's by the Paul Butterfield Blues Band.
Yes.
And this group had in their repertoire, they had Elvin Bishop, Mike Bloomfield, and Sam Lay on drums. That's just amazing. And you had Paul Butterfield playing harmonica.
Mm-hmm.
But this is another Elmore James song, and it's Shake Your Moneymaker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good one.
And those are my honorable mentions.
All right, good job. All right, Jeff, I'm really curious about what you and Jim have. I mean, it's one thing for Percy and I to come up with a list because neither one of us are musicians. We are what you call professional listeners. And I will give us
You're connoisseurs.
We are connoisseurs. Yeah, we love music. So I'm real curious when we get real music, and I say real musicians. Y'all are real musicians. So I want to hear what real. It's always different. You know, it's always different because pick such obvious stuff. You know, Percy That goes off the deep end.
It really
Now,
goes.
I really want to hear what the musicians' take is because y'all are playing this stuff, so it makes it a little bit different.
And I feel a little nervous when just a little when I'm around musicians and stuff because I'm thinking, I picked this song. Well, they think it's crap or it's not up to standards or whatever because they know how to play this stuff. I just know what was it Jerry Wexler used to call it, the sonority of the record.
Yeah.
It's how you hear it.
Yeah.
So, a while back, the music picks you. It craps
Too.
in there, but it's not to you. So, and I am of the opinion that the vast majority of people don't know good music because listen to what's on the radio.
I
And look
agree.
at it.
110%.
And I mean, they must just not like good music, so that don't bother me if they don't like my stuff. Cool people, as long as they like my stuff, and appreciate. You crowd that you want that matters to you. But I'm excited because
Well, I love that when you say the music picks you.
the music picks you.
That means so much to me.
Mhm.
And if you just think about it, when you think you like a song, I can usually tell in the first few seconds if I think I'm going to like this song.
Really, I'm
And,
real quick to burn.
Yeah,
I'll get
and
rid
it's just next,
Spend like 10
next, I don't
seconds.
know. When it picks you, it's pretty special.
Yes,
That's the best thing this podcast has done for me is not to give up on a song.
hmm
Yeah.
Just let it ride. I have found this true to be with electric guitar songs, rock songs, songwriter songs, especially some of the songwriter songs from Merle Haggard. Don't give up on them.
Yeah.
Songs from the Grateful Dead musically, don't give up on them because they're going somewhere.
Yeah, then
I like that. I remember I was teaching rock at Shelton's. It was probably in 1990, and Gary Waldrop was in there teaching, and I liked bluegrass at the time. And I love it now. But and he would tell me about his band, and he's like, "It's not what you think, man." He told me about the New Grass Revival.
yeah.
So
Bluegrass.
when I heard them, I was like, "Dang,
Yeah.
where is that? And where can I get some more?"
I mean, this whole thing, not just with Newgrass Revival, but the whole Newgrass movement.
Yeah. Those guys are jazz oriented even. I mean, it's a whole different podcast. Yes, we better get going.
Very cool.
But I tell you, music truly did pick me, and I think it's something God put in me a long time ago. But my plan for being a Pittsburgh Steeler, that was my in the '70s. That was my goal, and or an astronaut if that didn't work out.
Yeah, I wanted him my whole life to play football.
Well,
Go out on a limb here and say none of the skill would have been astronauts.
Yeah, no, Mean Joe's not flying space.
so let me tell you what happened. I got up with a buddy down the street, and he was the biggest kiss freak. And he had a guy that come over. It was Jason Payne, and he had a guitar. And there wasn't whole lot of music like in my house. It wasn't like I didn't know a lot about the old music,
Right.
but he hit that first power chord. It just was like a lightning bolt in my soul, and I said, "That sounds so good.
Yeah.
I got to do that."
Yeah.
Well, another thing, coming back to the slide is around. I've been playing guitar about a year. That was and this movie come out. It was called Crossroads, and it had Ralph Macchio
Ralph
in it.
Macchio, and if I remember, yeah.
And what? Right.
I think there was on the soundtrack.
He is my honorable mention for this one, which he could be
It should be a
or, but this is more of a favorites, not who's better. And he had that was that. You may have to quote me on this. You can probably do it, but in the scene in the movie where the girls just left and he sits down, they pour a drink, and he said, "The blues ain't nothing but a good man feeling bad."
That's right.
And he talking about thinking about the woman he lost. Right. Then he got it, and he plays that song called "Feeling Bad Blues," which is probably one of the most powerful blues songs I ever heard. So that got me for blues, and then the whole Robert Johnson
The whole story.
thing of the, and I was like, next thing I did is go get a tape of the Thesaurus of Classical Jazz by Robert Johnson, which had Crossroads.
Yeah.
And the whole mystic about the selling his soul.
Yeah, I mean, he disappeared for like years, and he wasn't that good.
Yeah.
And he disappeared for years and came back, and all of a sudden,
He was a master.
yeah.
If you want to watch a great documentary, there's a documentary called "Can You Hear the Wind Howl?" I bought it years ago for like $2 off eBay, and it's even got Robert Lockwood Jr., who played with Robert Johnson back in the day.
I love hearing stories.
And Robert Lockwood, he said that all that is just a load of crap. He said, you don't know what you're going to do when you walk out this door. He said, all that, and this his word. He said, this is a load of garbage.
Yeah. But I'm not believing it, but it makes for
it's a great, yeah, man, and especially his songs, "Hellhounds on My Trail."
Yeah.
The whole movie coming in, and really the whole. We were in the middle of blues revival at that time.
Right.
There was Stevie Ray.
Oh,
Just put out Texas Flood that year, '86, and then Jeff Healey. Who else was it? Gary Moore.
Oh wow, Gary could.
I mean,
And Healy was insane.
Yeah,
insanely good.
Healy. He was on Roadhouse. And
Yeah.
But
Kenny Wayne Shepherd and
Ronnie Lang.
Yeah. The next generation, around then in the '80s, blues was really taking. Then Stevie Ray would do like the Rolling Stones did. He took Buddy Guy on tour with him.
Yeah.
They always give him back. And but to me, Ry Cooder, a lot of his stuff was very inspiring. And let's see, I would say Muddy Waters is another one of mine. Not because of slide playing, but it's songwriting. It's just and there with Lil Walter doing that, just a 1-2 punch that was hard to.
I mean, when you had Buddy Waters and you had Little Walter playing on harmonica, and then you had Buddy Guy playing in his band. I mean, how are you going to top that?
You hear it and you're like, that's a stinking old Roadhouse that they're playing in right now.
Yeah.
And you can just feel like you're sitting there.
True.
All right. This next one was hard. And I wanted to pick Joe Walsh or Billy Gibbons because they're some of my favorite slide players.
Sure.
But tip my hat to a guy that's local. His name's Chris Simmons.
We know
Chris is amazing on slide, and he's playing with Paul Thorne right now.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best slide. Well, he's one of my favorite slide players.
Well, I just go see Chris playing here local, and he would always play walking blues for me. I would always request him to play walking blues.
It's really a signature slide song, like when he's like with what was his name, Leon. We let him play like on stage. And me and Chris down several times, and
Hallelujah, Man, that he wrote with Leon
the whole album is great.
Well, no, when Chris does Amazing Grace too. That's just.
And his studio album is really good. Hallelujah, Man. If y'all don't know it, check it out on Spotify. It's
good deal. All
right, that's the song. Hallelujah, Man.
Or
just the album.
No, the whole album.
Yeah.
The Hallelujah, Man song is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
The whole thing is great.
Cool. It really is. All right. You got any more? Any honorable mentions you want to mention? I mentioned twice, not 4 times.
We did Four Walls to Rayford, and I don't know if you know this. Percy probably does because he's like the encyclopedia. I want to stump Percy. Do you know who played guitar on that? Four Walls to Rayford. This is gonna blow your mind.
Well, see, I was thinking it was Rossington.
No, I know, but I read this week, but I had forgot. I'm getting old.
Yeah, it was, God, where'd it go? Can't read my writing. It's the guy from 38 Specials, Don Barnes.
Yeah, it's Don Barnes.
And he was in, which makes sense because he was in his Donnie Van Zandt. So they probably hung out all the time. And it was a studio thing that they didn't put on an album that was just laying there till after they died, and then they put it on Legend.
Yeah,
which I love that song. It's good. You did a great job on it, by the way.
Shoot. All right.
That's a lot of fun though. But
Good stuff. Jimmy, you got some honorable mentions you want to talk about?
Yeah, these slide players are like, there's so many names. I wrote down these names because nobody's going to know who the heck they are. Rory Gallagher, Sonny Landreth.
I know, Rory.
These guys are incredible, man. They're some of the best that there is.
yes,
But they played with everybody.
Yeah.
But so, you could pick songs from these guys. But so I just wanted to mention there's so many of them that nobody's going to know who the heck they are. So the first one that I picked was Rod Price.
I have no idea. I've never heard of Rod Price.
Yeah, you have. You've heard Rod Price.
Okay.
So Rod Price was one of the founding members of Foghat.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. And they were known for some slide.
Oh man, they were a blues band.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to do.
People just think of them for slow ride.
Yeah.
Did
There was so much more.
Right. Oh yeah. He was incredible.
did Foghat Terry Plain Blues?
Yes, and Chevrolet, which is another old blues song. I mean, they got a whole bunch of them. The one I picked for the playlist though was a song called "Driving Wheel."
Okay.
And it was from the Night Shift album, sometime around '76, I think. Incredible slide guitar, great song.
Gotcha.
Another one that I picked is David Gilmour.
Love that.
David Gilmour has got so much slide
He's an
guitar.
amazing slide guitar player.
I mean, it's just
He made my original docket. I mean, Floyd did.
yeah. Yes.
You got a song that you
I picked "Breathe." You could have picked a million of them.
High Hopes.
Yeah, "High Hopes" was the second one I had.
Hopes. So you don't have much slide at the start, but he takes you out of that song.
Absolutely.
Long slide. Have you heard it, Jeff? Okay. You
I've checked it.
check out Pink Floyd's.
And there's a whole bunch of them.
Sure.
And some of it is, wrapped with all kinds of effects and stuff. It's Pink Floyd, but, and then I also have a guy nobody else has heard of named Tommy Bolin. I bet Percy's probably heard of him.
I've heard of Tommy Bolin.
Tommy Bolin was a member of the James Gang.
Okay. Now it's like it.
Yeah, and the song I picked was from the Bank album. It's called "Must Be Love."
Okay.
If you listen to this song, listen to "Must Be Love," man, you're gonna hear some rock and roll slide guitar. It's really, really
Right
good.
on. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Got any others you want to throw out there?
I mean, I had Bonnie Raitt as honorable mention. I don't really have a song.
I know. How do you leave her out?
Yeah, no,
You
Bonnie.
can't.
Yeah.
She's
Amazing.
We saw her, Kay and I went to see her in
Yeah.
November. And, oh man.
She still got it,
Oh,
too,
it's
doesn't
incredible. Saw the CD. It was incredible.
Yeah. All right, my honorable mentions. We just saw this guy the other night. We didn't see Ringo Starr, of course, with podcasts and all this. And they brought out Jack White.
Oh, yeah.
Now, a lot of people don't think about Jack White as a slide player. That guy is an amazing guitar player.
Yeah.
Whether he's with the White Stripes or solo stuff or some of the other ventures that he went into. But the slide on Seven Nation Army is pretty amazing.
I want to throw something in here. You're a Dave Grohl lover.
Love Dave.
I'm not a big Dave Grohl fan, but I appreciate Dave Grohl, and he's like the torchbearer for. And I almost think that kind of that torch has been cast to Jack White.
I agree 100%.
Because he kind of keeps the old music alive.
He does. He does.
I mean, anybody ever watched the documentary It Might
Yeah.
Get Loud?
Yep.
That was good.
When he
You had
And-
Jimmy Page, The Edge, and Jack White.
when Jack White's doing this totally old school "Sitting on Top of the World,"
Hmm.
which is a
And he made a freaking guitar out of a mason jar and a
Yeah.
stick or something.
about
Place
"Sitting on Top of the World" in the big room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tours or the Jack
Yes,
White
the Rack and Tours. That's from Jack White. So that's one. And he had another one too, the Dead Weather.
Yeah.
I'll name that after remembering that. Next honorable mention, I think this guy started a lot, at least for Dwayne Allman. So I'm going Taj Mahal,
Yeah.
Statesboro Blues. And Percy informed me tonight that Taj actually did not play slide on that. Who was the guy? That
It was Jesse Ed Davis.
I was like, what?
And
So tricked.
No, me too.
well, and I'm glad you picked that because it missed my list, and I think everybody should know that if not for Jesse Ed Davis, there may May not be Greg or Dwayne
Dwayne
on slide.
on slide.
They gotta tell a story about how Dwayne hurt his elbow. And
Okay, Gordon riding horses, and Greg told Dwayne, he said, the horse has not been shot. So if you go over something, you better look out. So they went over, I think, some railroad tracks, and he dumped Dwayne, and Dwayne hurt his arm. It was he was in a sling.
Yeah.
And Greg tells this story. I went over to Dwayne's house, and he said the door was locked. He was mad at the world. And he said, all I did was knock on the door. I left the Taj Mahal's latest record, and I left a bottle of fluorescein pain pills. And Greg said within an hour, he had called me and said, you've got to get over here. I threw out these pain pills. Playing slide guitar.
Wow. Did you hear that?
yeah, he heard Statesboro Blues. He heard Statesboro.
Hey, you're not Statesboro Blues on that album.
Allman Brothers' version of Statesboro Blues overshadows that version. But make no mistake, that's a great version.
It really is.
Of Statesboro
You
Blues.
can tell it's where he got it from.
It's so authentic slide, and it's like, wow, it's like the real. It's real. It's real. All right, my last honorable mention. I got another surprise for y'all. Y'all know who Dean DeLeo is? Nope. He plays for the Stone Temple Pilots. All right. And
Big Empty?
Big Empty. That's one of the greatest. I knew Percy would know it. He's an FPP fan. Big Empty, man. It opens with slide. It's all the way through it. This guy, Dean DeLeo, just absolutely does a great job. It's sort of a mellow slide. It's not, but any slide is bluesy. Am I right?
Oh, it's got, yeah.
And you don't think of STP. There's some blues in it, but
Take away from that because slides are nothing. They're not blues either.
right. All right. So I won't even attempt. First. All right. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is by an artist that I've really grown to like since we started this podcast. And he had a famous brother, but it's the great Johnny Winter.
Oh yeah, boy.
And it's Johnny's version of Highway 61 revisited from the album The Second Winter. And the slide in that is just amazing. And like I say, this podcast has really turned me on to Johnny Winter.
Yeah, he was. The Winter Boys were incredible musicians.
I had him as my honorable mention, and I took him out for Muddy Waters because
Come on.
the songs that he wrote.
Right, and
Johnny was a much better slide player.
Muddy loved
By far.
Johnny too.
He did, didn't he?
Yes.
I think they all pretty much hung out together.
Tried to bring a picture just for inspiration tonight of Muddy and Johnny and the Blues Brothers.
Seen it. That's a great picture. I'm not talking about the Blues Brothers earlier, but you know they came out in the era you were talking about. You know when Stevie and the rest of them came out, the Blues Brothers were hot on the scene.
They were great.
All right.
And you look at Johnny. Johnny's a great player, but he looks like some kind of albino with that white hair. And
It's nice. It's albino. They red up.
Well, I was reading, Stevie Ray's bass player played with him.
Thomas.
And then they were just doing regular music and then starving, and tried to get into the blues. But he was playing, just regular rock and roll at first.
Mm-hmm.
But he is intense.
Austin Taste.
Is a good word for his blues playing.
Good stuff. All right. Number 5, or Jeff, who you got next?
David Lindley.
Oh, that's my man.
And it's hard.
Call you up here.
And it's very hard to put him on 5 because there's so many good ones. I mean, really. But Running on Empty, I was in this band and we played that one. And I learned
It's my favorite song.
I learned the slide, the solo, slide. He does it on a lick deal.
Yeah.
But I learned it, close enough anyways.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite.
Oh yeah. Lindley was. I think Percy will agree with me on this. I think he was the best lap steel player I've ever listened to.
That was a buddy of mine.
No,
You don't think?
no.
Think Thomas better than lap steel?
Rep Rooney was the best pedal steel guitar player that ever walked the planet. Yes, lap,
Okay.
pedal steel.
Yeah.
Ralph Mooney was the best to ever walk me and honeymooners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackie?
No, no, we're not going there.
You know, one of my favorite songs. It was not him, but Johnny and Santo. Do you remember those guys? They did a song called "Sweet Walk."
Mm-hmm.
That Jeff Beck redid it. And it's kind of an old 50s sounding, though. It's like you can see like your parents dancing at the sock hop. To me, it's just one of the.
Especially way back in the day, who does not get enough credit, and he used to have a lap steel with him in concert all the time, and that was Hank Jr. It's like, and was he like the best at these instruments? No, but he could play them very well. I mean, he can play piano and he can play lap steel
Yeah.
and pretty much anything he wants to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy?
I've got David Lindley. And, you know, I wrote down Run on Empty because that's just
I mean,
When he goes out at the end of the song,
Oh,
it's the best.
but Jeff took that one. I got another one. Thought this was somebody else, and I just found out just a minute ago. I looked it up. David Lindley's played with everybody. I mean,
He has.
I mean,
in every instrument, you know, just
Strings they can play.
yeah.
he's that
But a really cool still part is a song called "Driving Wheels"
Yeah.
by Jimmy Barnes.
Okay.
The album's called "Freight Train Hard," which is a really good album. But that song, that's a cool slide guitar.
Yeah.
David Lindley, man, he's the man.
Funny. My number 5 is Running on Empty.
Get out of there.
That line. Right there. Right.
You didn't hear you didn't hear this. We don't need to know it.
I thought I did. Different shirt. I've got name on the shirt. Just Run on Empty, David Lindley. I mean, he's sort of such a big Jackson Brown.
Yeah.
Huge for a long, long time. And I just, I think he got me really motivated on slide before any.
It's the one,
Dwayne.
Bright Baby Blue.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Redneck Friend, how did that?
Yes.
He did.
That's great. That's all the above. Yeah. It's all good stuff. All right, Percy, what's your number 4?
My number 4, and this has been like within the past year or two that I've come to terms with his majesty as a guitar player, and that's the great Jeff Beck.
Oh wow.
And he does, this is live from Ronnie Scott's, and he does Angel Footsteps.
That video of live at Ronnie Scott's is incredible. Tosh, what's her last name? The bass player, the girl.
She's like 15
Yeah.
at the time, and she plays bass. But that song is like, I hate to use, for lack of a better word, melancholy, but it's so relaxing. From the intro, it is, and we had this talk in the green room. Jeff Beck was one of those people that could just move back and forth between slide and the regular play. Because in this video, in the whole song, the first of it slide, and then he switches back with this regular picking, and then back to slide again. But this song is just, and I'll be honest with you, I will admit I had not heard this song till this week, and I love Jeff Beck.
I mean, you got to watch that video. That
Yeah, I have.
It's great.
It's amazing.
Good stuff. All right, Jeff, what you got?
I'm gonna kind of group, and it's the Skinner Boys.
Yeah.
They're pickers. It's hard to pick one or the other. Gary Rosington and Abe King. We've got Freebird, which is, I don't know which one's one of the first slide songs that I actually learned, but it was either Freebird or Curtis Slow. And, it's slow enough that a beginner can do it. And, you don't get.
I'll try it out when I get home.
What?
Right.
Guitar player early on in those early sessions on the slide. Was that Gary? What was Leon doing? Was Leon played guitar early on, did he not? In the first sessions?
I don't know either. I know Ed King played bass.
Yeah.
A lot of.
But that was before Ed King came along.
Right.
Second, in the Muscle Shoals sessions, because after they cast, they did the first and last. And I think Leon was playing guitar early on.
Well, all I know is Leon left the band
He did.
and went to like a Christian band.
And I could be wrong. On those sessions, I think Leon was playing on those sessions.
He could.
Yeah.
But what I really loved about it is, to me, slide players are, you have your virtuosos, which is, Dwayne Allman, Derek Trucks,
Yeah.
Rod Cooter.
Oh, yeah.
Then you have your pioneers like Sunhouse and
Elmore.
first, yeah, Elmore and Charlie Patton was one of the very first ones that like Sunhouse and all them learned from. To me, it seems to originate with him and whoever he got it from back in Mississippi and everything.
Charlie Patton was so much. His was so smoother. And we had this talk earlier. Sunhouse was just so clanky.
It was clanky.
It was just kind of clanky.
And it was kind of Tampa Red.
Yes.
Very Tampa Red.
Yes.
And then there's, to me, the movie makers, which is like Gary and Ed and David Lindley
Yeah.
and Dial. And when I'm playing, I play a ton of slide in church, back to the melody, and I try to hear it in my head. God kind of gives me, I can hear it just like, you hear in the record. So I try to just catch that wave and go with it because, I'll throw out a lick and then I can hear the next one I'm supposed to play.
But also, like in the country rock ranks, especially I love the Burrito Brothers,
Yeah.
and they love old country and the pedal steel. And was it Clarence White that came up with the B bender to try to make a regular Telecaster
I don't know.
sound like a
history of-
pedal steel?
He was one of the first ones to use one.
I think it was Clarence White and one of the other Burrito Brothers that actually invented that B bender to make it sound like a regular guitar sound like a pedal steel.
That rascal. It's hard to emulate too.
Yeah.
If you don't have one.
All right. Jimmy?
So my fourth one is Billy Gibbons.
Corey?
Yeah.
Billy Gibbons doesn't play a lot of slide guitar.
No, he doesn't. But there are 2 or 3 songs where it just,
It wears it out.
Absolutely. And the song I picked was "Just Got Paid."
That's one of my favorites.
No, blue song. I almost picked "Heard It on the X."
Don't say it.
What?
Sign that thing.
Well,
This is funny. Happened 2 times. That's great.
was in a band a long time ago. We played "Heard It on the X," and the guitar player he would grab the mic stand and play the slide on it.
He's sliding
with
the
slide on
and
that was so cool.
Yeah.
Just Got Paid just starts out, slaps you in the face with stuff.
Yeah, it does. That may be one of my favorite ZZ songs. And of course, that's my favorite band. So
Real Grand Mud too. A long time ago.
Yeah.
My favorite.
My favorite ZZ Top album is Rio Grande.
Yeah, so it can't be good. So my number 4 is Heard It on the X.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And I originally had Tush.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, but then on my way back from Tennessee today, my phone or whatever Bluetooth, and I just hit shuffle, and then Heard It on the X came on. I was like, wow,
That's incredible.
I'm going back. I'm hammering down to do this podcast tonight. And I've got my list, and then Heard It on the X came on. I was like, all right.
Heard It on the X from Fandango, which was a live concert in New Orleans somewhere, like in 1973.
Crazy
Did you
good.
imagine being in that?
Crazy good.
Man.
Oh, and they did Nasty Dogs.
Bikinis. Yeah,
You're right. Oh, yeah.
about that.
I remember one kid telling me this. Smitty, man, Smitty, what about?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Oh, yeah.
This happens to us weekly. It's like when you make your list, you almost should stop listening to songs.
Or you be adding on to it.
Long way to go.
Yes.
It's great.
Yeah, the paper.
Yeah, that's great.
I do love the text solo.
It's good.
We do sky at church.
Yeah.
And normal solo, and then I'll do the text
Well,
solo.
well,
That's right.
Bring church news.
I'll take it, church.
Bring down. Sorry, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Touching the sky.
All right. Nitty-gritty time, Percy. What's number 3?
My nitty gritty song is from the great SRV. And this was from the album In the Beginning, and it was released 2 years after his death and recorded live in Austin on 6th Street. It's a place called Steamboat 1874. And it's Stevie Ray doing a song called Slide Thing.
Yeah, I remember Slide Thing.
Okay, I do not. I'm a big SRV.
It's a straight up instrumental,
Yeah.
and it grooves.
What?
Didn't do a whole lot of slide.
He was good at it, but he wasn't. He wasn't slide as much as like Ray did with Warm.
Yeah.
He had the slide signature song.
Yeah, a couple.
Wore it out on it.
Yeah. All right. Jeff, what you got?
Dwayne Allman.
I mean, Skydog.
To me, he is more of really a pioneer than a virtuoso, and the reason I say that is because slide playing wasn't really prevalent when he started doing it. It was here and there, just kind of
Right.
blues guys.
It was the blues guys.
This music.
Yeah.
The blues guys weren't doing that. And we hear the stories about him hanging out with Wilson Pickett and not getting to go eat with all the other guys.
Yeah, that's right. They stayed back and recorded Hey Jude.
But I tell you what, and one thing that really blows me away about his playing is he only started playing, let's see, when was it? Slide in 1968. He died in 71? He was only playing 3 years, 3 or 4. So he got that good
Cool.
so fast. I mean, you could have said he sold his soul to the devil if they were, because he went for, and at first, it sounds awful, and it's like a violin player learning. And I got a violin one time. My ex-wife, she said, "It's going around, God." Slide, you don't put it on the fret. You play the metal.
You also have to realize there was 6 of them living in an apartment at the time, and they were all broke, and there was nothing to do.
Oh yeah.
You didn't have no bread to eat, so you just played music.
Right, yeah, pretty much.
They press pad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his playing is so heartfelt and just
How much more?
large and in charge. I would say confidence.
Yeah.
Like he's total confidence.
Yeah.
And one thing that on Statesboro is, we hear the Statesboro blues, like the one we jammed on in there, and I try to copy the one that's so popular, but all the other bootlegs, every other one, he never played it like that again.
Right.
He just played it one time like that. And that's the cool thing about blues. It's a breathing,
It really is.
living, breathing thing. You don't
Improvise.
do the same thing twice.
It's a being.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's what you feel. How do you feel that?
Yeah.
We had this guy at our CR. He plays the Native American flute.
Oh, wow.
He come up and me and him did this little song, and he said, "I just play it from my heart." I said, "Well, man, it's just like a prayer. I mean, that's the way we do music." Yes. This was really, really good. It was Jerry, and
Close.
it was the same thing, man. Just you feel, you play what you feel.
Yeah. Right. Well, and when you got like you guys, you can play with you.
Yeah, that's a gift from the Lord, and we just glad to be here with stuff.
Good.
So Statesboro Blues was your song? Good one.
Hey, Jimmy.
Number 3 I have is Eric Clapton.
Just
Yeah,
right down here.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no telling. I mean, there's so many songs.
And can you, speaking of the song that those two played together, Me No World.
Oh yeah. You're gonna say Layla?
Oh no, Layla was great.
I mean, that dang.
Yeah,
Me No
great.
World that he did.
Is that what you got, is Layla?
No, I don't. I have actually Rolling and Tumbling.
Okay, go ahead. Once y'all jammed out on that, that's nice.
I love that song so much. I was thinking, I was almost, I'm not even sure if it's slide guitar or not on Bell Bottom Blues. I think there's versions that are, but I almost put that down. But
It's a great song.
It is.
Jeff introduced me to Rolling and Tumbling years ago. He's got a version of it where he rewrote it pretty much. He got his own.
Yeah, we do it in church, man.
Yeah, he's got his own. What's it called? Child of Faith? What's it called?
Orphan song.
Orphan, something like that.
Yeah.
See, I think Bell Bottom Blues, and there was either 2 or 3 songs that they recorded before Dwayne got there.
Mm.
And Bell Bottom Blues was one of those songs that they recorded before Dwayne
Yeah.
got there.
It's one of my favorite songs ever. So
Love it.
I
Same.
love it.
Love it.
Yeah, I got Rolling and Tumbling, and I like the unplugged Eric
I do too.
unplugged version. of it.
Yeah. It's
That's the heavy slide induced version.
Yeah.
The first version I ever heard was the cream version.
Mhm.
But I'm like you, that it just gets your feet
Oh yeah.
pumping
Yeah.
on
Got
that.
that. It's got that.
I want everybody to know that I read a couple of days ago that the anniversary of Eric Clapton's Unplugged's come out, and it's going to be on some of the streaming services and some theaters.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
It was such a good
it
album.
was the best.
It was so
The
good.
best. Still listen to it to this day.
Now, when I heard it with Jeff, and we started just jamming, we were just playing. Never heard the song before. Yeah, and I started playing along with Jeff, and I wasn't playing it right. The bass part I was playing was with the riff, that dun 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 dun. I was playing the bass part along with the rhythm part, and it was so cool. I'm so glad that's the way it worked out. Once I finally heard it, which Jack Bruce is nuts in that thing, and
Jack Bruce on a fretless bass,
Yeah.
playing it like it's a lead instrument.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
but then you also have the Nathan East
Nathan
playing
East.
for Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
He
He was a dog.
amazing
Yeah.
bass player.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I got.
My number 3, got the great Joe Walsh, Jersey Joe Walsh.
Yes.
Yeah, going Rocky
There's
Mountain.
been my honorable mention.
Mountain Later. I mean, it's great.
So
fun.
good.
Big too. I mean, the guy's a beast, a big guitar player. And just, he's had a lot of transgressions. He's made it through the other side.
He really
and,
has.
it's just sort of a great story.
Tell you what I like is In the City.
I love that
Yeah.
song.
Look, there's a couple of other Eagle songs to get overlooked for having slide.
There's a ton of them.
Like the long run with the slide intro. Go back to when on the border when Fingers failed her
Mhm.
and the song "Good Day in Hell."
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
intro to that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Percy, what's number 2 for you?
Number 2 for me, Mr. Walker. Would you like to read this for me?
Me No World, Derek and the Domino. I'm right with you on that. And I didn't realize that till later because I learned that a long time ago. I couldn't play it now if I tried, but
I bet you.
I love it.
From the first time I heard this song, it blew my mind. And at the time, I guess at the age I was when I heard this, I never knew that Dwayne was on the T-Bone Walker song, which anybody that knows blues knows T-Bone Walker.
Oh yeah.
Stormy Monday. But this song is just, I don't know how anybody could not like this song.
Yeah.
John Mayall, did he do that with John Mayall? Blues Breakers, that same Minnow World? I don't know. I'm not.
Well, it seems like
he
he could have done it live. They only did one album,
Yeah.
and it was known as the Beano album. The Clapton's, they're all
The magazine.
they're all sitting down and he's reading a Beano comic
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
But I know for sure it's not on that album. But they could have recorded it live or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, Jeffrey.
My number 2, and this was hard to do, Robert Johnson,
Wow.
because he fits in really all 3 of the categories. He's a virtuoso. His stuff, if you ever tried to play it, it's hard as crap.
What is it? Keith Richards calls it bop.
It really is the top of the food chain. and it's so intense, like some houses, but it's clean.
And his voice is so
His
much,
voice.
it's so much
And it's
better than
insane.
Son House.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the Crossroads Blues is so hard to beat, and Preaching Blues. God, that one. If I had
there's
possession over Judgment Day. Now that was that was the one that Rolling and Tumbling Colt wrote, didn't it?
yes.
And
Because-
Buddy put that off,
but,
put the words to it.
There's so many of those folk songs that were ripped off, but he actually recorded
He did.
early version of
So
that.
he wrote that.
Wow.
And then you go back to like the song that we discussed earlier in Terraplane Blues.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Robert Johnson song.
It's kind of incredible how many of those guys, like the Rolling Stones and the Who and the Beatles, and they're all super influenced by these blues.
Oh, absolutely.
Wayne-
The British invasion is influenced by the blues.
Clapton, he looked up to Robert
Oh, yeah, he
Johnson.
did.
It was
But the whole album.
He did. Proud of Robert Johnson song.
yeah, Mr. Johnson.
And what's so sad is most of these guys, these pioneers, probably didn't have enough money to get a gravestone when they were
I
young.
mean,
They were just thrown out in the field with a
they
buried.
they played the Chitlin tour.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I know so many of these people. I think they ended up paying for Wolf burial when he died. So many of these dudes, like the Stones,
Yeah.
I think it was, I may be wrong on this, I have lapses, but I think it was the Stones that may have paid for Wolf's. So many of these
Oh, they died.
British rockers, they paid for them to be buried.
Yeah, they're in.
It's pretty sad.
Well, and these guys, when they were on that Chitlin tour, and heck, they were playing for gas money and food and
Yeah.
whiskey.
And if they wouldn't let them, they'd give the food out back. And then
You had to sleep out back and sleep in your car or another town or whatever.
Because, when they started the BBC sessions, and they did the Howlin' Wolf one, they didn't want Hubert Sumlin to go. And
Yeah.
Eric Clapton said,
You should know.
if Hubert Sumlin's not going, I'm not
Right.
going.
Yeah.
And they always told me, I appreciated that about Clapton, how, that's the lower man. And all these people want to talk about how Clapton was a racist.
No.
He was coked out and said stupid things. But you know what? B.B. King was his best friend of the day he died.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say.
And loved him till the day he died.
Yes.
Amen. All right. Who's up?
It's me. Is it me?
Yeah.
What song did you have, Jeff?
Crossroad Blues.
Oh, number 2 for me is Derek Trucks. And I picked a song from, so much nowadays the Defty Trucks.
Yes.
And I picked a song that was just Derek Trucks band, and it's called "Get What You Deserve." It's from the album Already Free. You probably never heard.
That was
it
a
before.
great album.
Yeah,
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
There.
it's really good.
Derek Trucks does a great version of, and I think Son House did this song, but he does a great version of Death Letter.
Yeah.
He did Down on the Flood too.
Yes, he did, and I think it's
that's
also
Derek Trucks band.
yeah, and it's also I think
Oh,
it's
that's
a
good.
her song
Yeah.
Already Free album.
Slide on that too is
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah.
Mm.
I wanted
It's
to,
in his blood.
you could go on and on and on with Derek Trucks song.
Crazy. You see it like, Dwayne, he's like, oh, Dwayne was a great slide player. Well, he was doing it a short period of time. Well, he was up there just killing it. What, like 10?
He was 15 when
He
he
was
joined
very
the
young. Yeah.
Joined the Allman Brothers.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. He
Yeah.
toured with the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
Playing was not any less.
No, it's been right there the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like the kid that's playing, I say kid, he's not a kid anymore, that it started out playing with Buddy Guy.
Mm-hmm.
Quinn Sullivan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was,
They got crazy.
he was 15, and Buddy Guy said the first time I saw him, he said, I unplugged the amp to make sure he was playing.
Oh yeah. The Derek Trucks, there's a video. I think it's from the one of Eric Clapton's Crossroads festivals.
Okay.
Of him and Susan doing Midnight in Harlem. And that video, if it would have been that version was what I would have chosen, but you can't find it anywhere except for the video. But it also has Otil Burbage playing bass guitar, who I think's one of, or maybe the best bass player.
He is
Oh,
amazing.
wow, coming from you too.
Got incredible. Amazing. Anyway, there
You know what was really cool? I got to see Skinner and the Allman Brothers together, and Skinner opened up for the Allman Brothers, and it come a big rain, and a lot of the the down front rich folk they leave when it starts raining, so I got to go down to the front, and they're doing some long-winded jam,
Sure, they are.
killing it. I mean, it was so good. I love it when it wasn't a hard rain either. I mean, it was nuts. And man,
That's
I
a
was
great time.
it was a great time there. Sure was.
It's your way because my number two is by the Allman Brothers. So I think Dwayne is, I don't know who you rank as the greatest slide guitar player, but how much more could we have gotten out of Dwayne if he didn't die at such an early age? I mean, there could have been
Exactly.
so much more. And you could have picked a variety of Allman Brothers with Dwayne, but again, today I had one picked out, but then one way out.
Man,
It's like, yeah. And Percy will pick whatever version he thinks is the best. I trust him 110%.
We all know where One Way Out came from.
you know,
I'm just throwing that out there.
and you can't really forget Dickie.
No,
Bell.
gosh. He sort of set the stage for that whole song, really.
And his slide playing was amazing.
Yeah.
But the only thing about that is he was in a band doing all.
Yeah.
If he would have been the only guitar player, he would have been a lot more revered.
You know, this tells his story after Dwayne died, and they didn't know if they were going to get back together, and they decided they were going to get back together. And it's kind of random, but Dickie says he's sitting there like in a chair, and it comes to him. He's like, "Oh crap! I've got to play slide."
Not
Well, I mean, you could tell a little bit, but it still had that same almond sound. It wasn't.
there's a Dickie Betts tribute concert coming up in Macon, Georgia. I think it's in February. By the way, there's a long list of people that have played.
As good as Warren Haynes is, and he's one of my favorites as far as tone, just with his finger, but
Yeah.
like Dickie slide playing a lot better. Warren was with
Government Mule.
well, he was with Allman Brothers when I saw him.
Yes,
Him and
yeah.
Derek. And sure, they were swapping out licks, but Derek was so much better. But Warren was wonderful too. I'm sorry, I just got
Yeah, no, it's good.
It's hard not to say
No, I know.
a little hat tip to those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're at number ones. We're at number ones, Percy.
We're
Can't
at number
wait.
ones.
What you got?
My number one, in my humble opinion, is from the godfather of electric slide, and it's from the great Elmore James. And it was a song that really first hooked me on slide. And the song is "It Hurts Me Too."
Oh man, that's a good one.
I mean, when things go wrong with you. It hurts me too.
It's another one that'll take you, to that place, to the old roadhouse. And
Yeah.
just set you down, and just
Yeah.
the sound.
There's still a few joints.
Yeah.
Sort
There's the Blues Trail.
we were just, no.
Friend Tibbs did. He went to Texas first, and that's where Robert Johnson did his recording. Then come back through Mississippi, and I can't remember how.
It was it was in a hotel in San Antonio. Not
There's a trail, if you go. I don't want to do that.
you would have had the hellhounds on your trail.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
All right, good number one. What you got?
Big trucks.
Wow.
To me,
So this is why I was saying earlier, don't interrupt.
everybody.
When I hear from musicians and their choices, I mean, I take it to heart. So this is 2 times now you got
It
it.
was really hard to pick a song that was like the most heartfelt. The Elmore was good, and a lot of these guys, and Ry Cooter and David Lindley. But man, when I was playing some Derek Trucks, I just put it on the playlist today and started going down through there. When I heard the solo for Down in the Flood today, is the most what is the word? Raunchy sounding.
It's swampy, raunchy,
Yes.
wicked,
It's
everything.
mean.
It's got that weird way he plays.
He does.
Right hand is.
And he did it. Well, you know, it's only this mostly with his fingers.
Yeah, yeah.
And he does it a lot with his thumb. And one of the ones that he's got, which as well, it was with the Derek Trucks band before Tedeschi. As good as she is, I don't like a lot of their new stuff.
Right.
And it was back where I started was another good one. I like that a lot. But it was a Rasta Man chant.
I saw that.
Oh my gosh! He did like it was an old Bob Marley song, or is it
It was somebody
It's
else. I didn't reckon.
or the horn song?
Yeah, somebody else.
That was reggae dude.
Yeah, somebody else. It says the name on there. It's part of the song.
Well, I used to dig it when it comes on. But, you know, the Already Free album to me was one of their best. It was so good, and
Song that I put on there, but Get What You Deserve.
I heard it today.
Man, I love
It
that.
was good.
That slide guitar in that song. Man, that's something.
It is.
That's great. All right, Jim.
Mine is Dwayne Allman. It's
Here we go.
Yeah, no, it's
It's Grand Robin up in here.
you know, and I could have picked 100 songs from Dwayne Allman, and I picked a song that I did on purpose because I feel like it's an kind of obscure song and doesn't get a lot of credit. It's called "Don't Keep Me Wondering,"
Okay.
and it's from the Fillmore East. Which, by the way, that Fillmore East live album has been said that it's one of the
Oh, it's like in
Greatest.
I put it in the time capsule.
yeah.
I'll send it to Mars if we ever go.
it's in it's the country's national archive.
This song, but barely missed my list. And when on the Derek and Domino's album, they did a cover of a Chuck Willis R&B song called "It's Too Late,"
Mm-hmm.
Come listen to that whole
and
thing.
they do. Clapton did it on the Johnny Cash show, but they didn't have the Wayne. And on the original recording of it, in the solo, you can hear the Wayne coming over the top of Eric with slide.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? My friend Eric, my neighbor Eric, he went to see Derek Trucks and Eric Clapton do the Layla album just in its entirety.
Wow.
Man, don't you know that one? He said Trucks. Really? So yeah.
You know what's cool is that we do have these same names, but there are. It's not because there's a small, limited number of players that you can pick from. I mean, there's hundreds of slide players, and hundreds of slide songs. These guys really, truly are the best ones.
They are. I think the ones that have been mentioned tonight are truly the best.
Yeah.
I mean,
And what
I may
really-
have thrown one or two in there that were border, but
You know what really stands out? As much as you can, like, you know, take the slide and slide up to a note, when you hear one of these guys do it, you know it's them.
yeah.
You know, when you hear Billy Gibbons solo, you know it's Billy. Or Derek.
Well,
It's got that swanky
in
sound.
Layla at the outro when Eric's playing and then Derek
Dwayne.
Dwayne's playing and they're you can tell who's who the way the guitar sounds.
Uh-huh.
Mhm. Well, y'all can. Percy probably can.
Y'all can.
Y'all are trained ears.
Yeah, you can hear it.
All right. Number one. Is that yours,
Yep,
Jimmy?
That's it.
All right.
Number one.
No one is
Come on.
taking mine.
Oh my God.
All right.
I've got the show stealer here. Jimmy Page.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy Page.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
That guy could play slide. And when you think of Led Zeppelin, you don't think about a lot of slide stuff.
Right.
Maybe Traveling Riverside Blues.
I love that
Is
one too.
one. But the one I picked is one of my favorite songs they did, and it's In My Time of Dying.
Yeah.
It opens, first you knew I was going there, didn't you? But it opens with slide, and it's got you from the hook.
Yeah.
And it takes you all the way through, and they build up, and the slide brings you back down in that song.
Uh-huh.
Is
Is that the one with the weird effect on it?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wah-wah slide almost. And anyway, that's my number one
Awesome.
slide song. And I'm glad I was able to put some lead for
Yeah.
our head out there.
Well,
'Cause
one of the greatest
Jimmy-
guitar players ever.
Yeah, Jimmy Page can play some slide. First, you got a pick this week?
I do, and this is from as you know, more recently it's become one of my favorite bands, and this is from Red Rocks,
Favorite.
and it's their version of Werewolves in London. And Jerry Garcia is playing heavy slide on this version of Werewolves in London,
Well,
and
it's wild.
it's great. It just, to me, that whole slide in their version just adds a totally different dimension to that song.
Slide to Werewolf of London. I can't figure that out either. I can't find it.
No.
They do a great job of Elmore's. It hurts me too. That was from '72 in Europe. That had the late great Pigpen. He was playing harmonica and singing on that and doing a fabulous job.
Good stuff. Jeff, you want to warm that axe up over there?
Yeah, we can play a little song.
Let's do it. While you're doing that, let's talk about next week. We've got Jennifer Amos coming back. She's been on here once, and we did Aerosmith, and she's going to come back. And next week, guys, we're doing the 27 Club.
Oh man,
Familiar with the
that's gonna be a
27
good one.
Club. So we've been holding that card back for a while until Jennifer mentioned it the other day, and we're like, all right, let's do it. So